Okay, it's 1 p.m. Hello, and thank you for joining the Center for Career Development. I am Ms. Angie, and I'm one of the career specialists assigned to the schools of engineering, architecture and planning, computer science, mathematical and natural sciences. Today we have with us Mr. Eric Carlson, and I'll give him the floor to talk. But before I do, I would like you all to know Eric worked with the Center for Career Development in his undergraduate, and he did his master's degree as well, and now he's a worker. And so it's an honor to have you today, Mr. Carlson, and I'll pass it over to you for you to do a better introduction of yourself.
Well, hello, everyone. I attended Morgan State University from 2014 to 2019. While at Morgan State University, as Ms. Andre said, that I worked for the Center for Career Development. So while working at the Center for Career Development, I was a career specialist. So I did things like help with resumes, help students figure out career paths, and just help students as they come into the office and just direct them with what they wanted to do. So I graduated in 2019 from Morgan State University with my Bachelor's of Science in Industrial and Systems Engineering. And then I immediately went right back to grad school to get my Master's of Engineering in Industrial Engineering. And I graduated in December 2020.
Okay, very good. So, given that you went through the process, which many of our students will be looking to go through, I'm going to start off with our talking points. Today, we were having a coffee chat talking about going to graduate school or not going to graduate school. So, graduate school as an option, given that you went through this process, which many students are going into and are looking to go into, what do you have to say about graduate school as an option?
Okay, so at first, to be completely transparent here, for me, graduate school was not an option at first. But that's because I was in a weird place, because I was at a point where I was just fed up with school, because my last semester, in order for me to graduate when I did, I had to take 22 credits. So that's literally like a full load. So I was just stressed, didn't want to hear it. I was sick of school. But in the grand scheme of things, grad school was actually a big help for me. It really changed and helped boost my academic, well, not even my academic, but my professional career also. It was a point where I was getting job offers that were very, very, very low. And I was going to accept one of those job offers just because I was being so stubborn to the fact that I didn't want to go to grad school. But after talking to people and really stepping away from my current situation and looking long term, I realized that grad school is actually a great option for me. So, and that really molded me to where I am today. And I would not have this job that I'm in today if I did not go to grad school.
Very nice. Thank you. Okay. So, working right after a bachelor's degree. So I think you touched a little bit about that, but some students are like, regardless of how low the jobs are, they're still not interested in going to graduate school. So can you talk about that, working right after a bachelor's degree and then working after a graduate school degree?
Okay, so for me, and my personal experiences, the difference between working with a bachelor's degree and working with a master's degree, I can talk on two things: one, financially, and the way they view you within the company. So if I was to come in with just a basic bachelor's degree, I would still be an associate, but the way they would view me is as if I'm a true level one with no regards to how to operate within a workaday world, or to little to no understanding of what's going on in that field. But with my master's, things that I see in my current company, because I have my master's, they view me in a higher regard, more so to a level 2 or to a level 3, because I have that extra knowledge, and I've gone the extra mile to understand advanced concepts and to help advance the company further than the current state that I'm currently in. Financially, the difference between not going to grad school and going to grad school is about $25,000 to $30,000, depending on what field you're in. So I'm in the STEM field. So as you know, it's a pretty big difference.
It is. Okay, so thank you for touching on that. But some students are like, I'm interested in going to graduate school, but I don't have the finances to actually go for graduate school. So I know there are a ton of resources. Maybe you can touch a little bit on that, on paying for graduate school, because that's a big piece. As much as some people are interested in going for graduate school, they may not have the finances to pay for graduate school. So what can you say about that?
Yeah, great question. So I also didn't have the finances to pay for graduate school. So one of the options that I did was you can take FAFSA out or like take personal loans out to go to grad school, although it may affect you in the long term, but I really didn't it really didn't affect me that much because I was in a position to where I was able to do that. And Morgan State grad school isn't that expensive compared to the big name schools where I'm getting the same education for a way cheaper price. So, but they also have options such as assistantships where you work for a professor or you become a TA and your grad school is free. So, but it's only up to like 5 credits. And there are tons of scholarships out there specifically for grad students that I would highly recommend.
Okay. Okay. So we are caught with going to graduate school, getting a job, paying for graduate school if interested. So how did you come to make the best decision in your interest?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
So making the best decision in your interest, because you graduated, you have your, okay, I have this bachelor's degree. What next? I was told when you get an engineering degree, I should get 100,000 a year. So, I mean, those are the stories you guys were told, right? That's your engineering. But then when you get out there, you find the reality. Don't get me wrong, there are jobs that pay that much, but sometimes it may be just so hard to come by. So
they're very hard to come past.
They're hard to come by. So you struggled with that. You graduated, but you didn't get a job. The offers you were getting were not very reasonable, and you thought about going to graduate school. You were conflicted.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you decided to go to graduate school, you thought about the finances. So how did you come to make the best decision in your interest?
Okay, so for me, it was really and honestly my support system that really pushed me to be better than what I am. One of my closest friends, we were graduating at the same time. He was a civil engineering major. I'm an industrial engineering major, so we were kind of going through the same struggle at the same time, but in different fields. So his plan, since he started college, was to go to grad school, and he was always in my ear referencing, "Hey, go to grad school. Hey, go to grad school. Hey, go to grad school." But I'm like, man, I don't want to go to grad school. I want to get to this paper. But that's the way I was thinking about it. But as time went on and as the semester really went out, I started to get these job offers and I started to see the number on the job offers and I started to see the location of where these jobs were. So some of them required me to go to Idaho. Some of them required me to go to Kansas City. Some of them required me to go to Kentucky, but not the good places, but in the middle of nowhere places where I would have to leave my family, my friends, and literally start a whole new life by myself. So I rejected everything. So I didn't, and because I rejected everything, I had no other option. And then I started talking to Mr. Sweets. He's a faculty in the School of Engineering, and he really broke it down to me. He said, "Hey, you could thug it out for 3 semesters and possibly raise your salary for $20,000 to $30,000, or you can try to do that same thing in the workaday world will take you 10 to 15 to 20 years to do that." So I was like, "You're making really good points." And then I would talk to Miss Curtis, and she told me about how she went to grad school, and everybody who was like really influential in my life and who I viewed to a high standard all had that additional bump in grad school. You can kind of see it once you start to get over the people who decided to do advanced and higher education than the ones who didn't. So I applied and I got in, and that was all sure. Once I got in, I was fully dedicated. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, you just touched right on my next point, engagement in career relevant conversations, like the conversation you had with Mr. Sweet and Miss Curtis. Was that not the best advice you had? Was
Yes,
it
for
was
sure.
it worth
For,
it?
for sure. If it wasn't for them, I'd probably be somewhere in Kentucky making a lot less than what I do now. It's
True.
like struggling.
Yeah, but you didn't have to move, did you? I
Nope,
think.
I didn't have to move. I did not have to move. Honestly, so let me give y'all my current situation. So I graduated from grad school. I work 15 minutes away from my job. It literally, from the time I leave my house to the time I sit down my chair, it takes me 15 minutes. I have a great job. I work
Wow.
from home
Wow.
and I get every other Friday off compared to if I was to accept this offer. Um, sorry. Compared to if I would accept this offer, I would be somewhere in Kentucky, had to drive to work an hour every day, would be around nobody actually, no friends,
Mhm.
no family, no support system. I would be in a whole different climate. And I would probably be a total different person if I didn't go to grad school.
Yeah.
And I really want to have the connections that I do now, and I want to
Mm-hmm.
have the flexibility that I have in this current job, as if I were to accept one of those offers with those different organizations. And a lot of companies view bachelor's degrees as lower level now because the job industry is like super saturated. Like everybody has a bachelor's degree, so they're
Mm-hmm.
looking at it like, yeah, you completed the most basic requirements. So what? What else are you bringing to the table? That's why they're pushing so hard for these super high GPAs. Um, yeah, and one thing that really stood out because I had the bachelor's degree and I had the master's degree and I had the super high GPA. So that's a triple package compared to just someone who is a one trick pony.
Okay. So I know we've heard this before. I know you've heard this before as an undergraduate student. We've heard people say, oh, you don't need a master's degree, especially in the engineering field, because employers are going to sponsor you through your school. Can you talk a little bit about that aspect of going to graduate school while working and all of that?
Okay. So while working full time and going to grad school, I actually did it. I did this thing that my job offers called part time on call.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not like it at all. I completely did not like it. I'd rather be a full time student and go consistently every day to class, or just be in a learning environment to where if I have a question, I can go do this immediately. Or if I need some help, I can stop a friend in the home and say, "Hey, I need help with this." Or to if I just wanted to sit there and do my work for my future classes, I can do that and not have the stress or the responsibilities or obligations to an organization. Um, yeah, just to an organization. Like
Mm-hmm.
I value the freedom, and except for on the days where I had to working a full day and then having to go to grad school for 3 to 4 hours, it's a lot. It's heavy on you and it weighs on you, not just mentally, but like emotionally and yeah, like really emotionally and physically. Like it's
It's draining.
draining,
Yeah.
very draining. And that was only one day out of the week, and I will only work on Tuesdays. So imagine doing that consistently. I actually, one of my close friends, she's doing that now, and she hates it. But
Oh.
although it's good that you can work and go to grad school because your job may have options where they may pay for your grad school, but it's not the same as if they would pay for everything. They'll pay up to X percentage, or they'll give you a salary per
Mm-hmm.
semester, which could possibly elongate your academic matriculation, a
Mm-hmm.
famous Morgan State word, your academic matriculation.
That's okay.
Um, or or if you take that option, it can also possibly put you in a higher tax bracket. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really bad because you're getting taxed a lot harder than what you normally would.
Okay. So what about internships? I know we get a lot of that as well. I know we are focusing on going to graduate school after a bachelor's degree, but what's the importance of internship for an engineering student?
An internship is it's very important. The most basic way I can say it. It's very, very, very important because everybody wants to hire someone with experience. So through these internships, you gain valuable experience. You get paid for it while still being able to do a student, and you don't have that long yearly commitment. You could do it over the summer. You could do it probably during the school year. It depends on the organization you're with and how they set up. For me, I interned at Shoe City, then I interned for USA, then I interned for the post office, and then I interned for the current company I'm at. So I had 4 internships. And really good thing about internships is like you're dating the company. So if you see something that you don't like in the company, you don't have to stay there long term. It is not really going to affect you. So for example, I absolutely disliked the commute that I had to take to get from my house to the headquarters in LaFont Plaza. I would leave my house at 5:30 and I would sit down in my seat at 7:30. So that's a 2-hour commute every day, Monday through Friday. And I would have to take that commute going and coming home. So that's 4 hours out of my day completely gone just on travel. So that was an awful thing that I'm glad that I got to experience before I signed up for it. And they start paying me, and I have that legal obligation to go there every day. So that's really one good thing. Oh, and through the internship, also with the post office, I really figured out what field that I want to go in and what type of work that I like to do. And I figured out how I work best in different environments. So those are the good and the bad about internships. But they really, really, really are helpful when it comes to job hunting because you have that extra experience to where that puts you over someone who just with a bachelor's degree.
Okay, because internship pretty much exposes you to the various fields within your field.
Yeah.
And you feel like it helps you confirm, is this what I really want to do? Should I think again? We've had students who have gone for internships and they're like, no, this is great in theory, but in practice, this is not what I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It saves you also. It saves you. For example, the student who did the internship and they didn't like it, they probably could came back and change their major instead of wasting the 4 years of going through that major, graduating, getting a job and realizing, I hate this. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. So now you're out thousands of dollars because you didn't take time to date that field. And now you're stuck with a degree that you don't want to use.
Okay. So given that we're talking about internship, one of the major benefits of internship is networking. So can you talk about networking and its relevance to students? Because you need that even if you're going to graduate school, if you're not going to graduate school, if you're working.
Yeah. So I can talk about it socially and professionally. So professionally, I still have contacts with the people that I've interned with at the USA. We talk pretty frequently. And if I needed to leave my current organization, I'm 100% sure that they would get me into their current companies, although they don't work at the same companies that we intern with. But because we have that relationship, I'm able to get in there. So your network is your net worth. So if you really don't have a big network, you really aren't worth anything. And if things go south, you don't have anybody or anyone to rely on. So you always need to build those relationships in case things go wrong or in case things are going really right and you want to celebrate with your professional friends, you have that circle with you. Socially, if you just need to network on campus, honestly, because some of the people who I was in the clubs and organization with, we close, super close. We laugh about our struggles when one of us are feeling like imposter syndrome, or you just need that extra support that you can't really talk to people at your job about, but you still want somebody who understands the same professional struggle as you do because y'all all in the same field. You have that to go to. Yes. And that's very, very, very important, especially being young and Black in like these big industries. That's a big thing because there's been times where I didn't know how to react in certain situations or how to navigate certain situations. So I just texted like, hey, I'm in this situation. What should I do? Would it be wrong if I do this? Would it be wrong if I do that? But if I didn't have that network, then I wouldn't be able to properly navigate through what I am currently going through.
Okay. So would your network be your dad, your mom, your sister, your brother?
I wouldn't say necessarily. It could be if you need them to, but necessarily not. I would say more so your friends, your classmates, other professionals that you seem to
You
build a
work with.
bond with, or y'all have the same interests.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So overall, the pros and cons, given that you went through the process of not of having to think about getting a master's degree and working, what are the pros? Or let's start with the cons. So what are the cons?
It's expensive and it's a little time consuming. The classes are long. That's about it. But that's stuff. I mean, if you're a student right now, everything's expensive to you. So
Mm-hmm.
everything's time consuming. The class you take now time consuming. So I mean, it's not really that bad. So I would say I would have a lot more pros than I do cons.
Okay. So what are the pros then?
Um, you change, your reputation changes. You could possibly boost your salary $20,000 to $30,000. So you become more of a specialist in a certain field. So your bachelor's degree is just like laying the foundation, and the master's degree is like you kind of focus it in on that one particular subject. The relationship with the teachers and the students are way different. It's not just teacher, student. It's like a relationship where you both learn from each other and then kind of
Mm-hmm.
giving guidance and you kind of navigate through it. And for me personally, grad school was a lot easier than my bachelor's. A lot easier. What else? I learned so much about the different industries, the different fields, the different specializations. I realized that I don't like probability and statistics through grad school. So now I will not be dealing with any probability and statistics. It helps you to be able to grasp advanced concepts. You look a lot more marketable and more hireable to these organizations because you have something else over everyone else. And I think that's it. I think that's it actually. Oh, another con. You cannot get any C's in grad school. That's one thing that I really did not like. So you
So
really
how
have
do
to
you mean?
study.
Can you explain more about that?
About the C's?
Yeah.
Okay, so in grad school, I think you're only able to get one C, and that's like it's based off a percentage. So I think it's like 10% of the curriculum you're only able to get a C. It's something weird, but if you get any C's, any more than one C, you consider failing. So it really stresses and urges like you really need to learn this concept because you're becoming on a different level. So the way people are going to view you is different. So that way you really need to know this material because you're like a step up from everyone else. You're that person that everyone goes to when it comes to that particular topic.
Okay. So I'll retract a little. You did mention that there was a point where you did work while going to school. With our economic situation, working and going to school is not something that is far-fetched. It's something that we typically would find nowadays because of the economic situation. So what was the importance of scheduling for you?
That was everything. That was everything. At first, I really wasn't a big scheduler, but after taking these grad classes and seeing the amount of work that I have to do and working, it's easy for your days to start to run together because they're so long. So I bought a planner and I would schedule, I'm gonna do X on this day and I'm gonna do X on that day, and this requires this much time. So once I get finished this, I'll have 20 minutes to go grab something to eat, then start this because this is due this day. Or if I'm at work, it was, okay, I work for this amount of time. It takes me 30 minutes to get to school, but I also have to consider in traffic and I don't want to be late. So I had to factor in that. So my days came from just kind of free flowing when I was an undergrad, just like, hey, I don't want to do that. Or, okay, I'm tired. I'm gonna leave now to, no, I have to stick to this schedule because if I don't stick to my schedule, then everything's gonna be off whack and I could possibly forget something.
Yes. So you mentioned agendas. What about calendars?
Yeah, calendars. I use my iPhone calendar to this day. To this day. To this day. I schedule my everything. Meetings, my work meetings. This is my work phone. If I was just, I can't really show y'all my calendar, but if I would show y'all, it would say I have a 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, my lunch break, everything. Super organized now.
Yes, that's very good. So you noticed that you grew in that aspect.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So because myself, I made use of calendars as well in graduate school a lot. It helped me. And organization is a key aspect for you to be successful in graduate school. You need to learn how to organize.
Yes.
It's very important keeping to your schedule, or you're not going to do well, and you don't want that. So, overall, what do you have to say to add to this topic?
Well, anything I have to say, I don't know who's out there, but if you're listening, I highly 100% recommend that you go to grad school. It will help advance your life and change your life in ways that you will never even imagine. You will make so many new contacts, relationships, and you'll benefit from it. You might not think it now, but in the long run, you most definitely will.
Yeah. And like we're saying, networking, because you worked at the center, that's why you can be on this call today, right?
Yep. Yep.
Please feel free to send me an email as your career specialist, or to visit the Morgan webpage at www.morgan.edu/career development. Yes, /career development. It's been changed with the website update. So I had to think about that again. And it was very nice having you all on here. This recording is this webinar is recorded, and it will be uploaded on the Morgan State University Center for Career Development webpage. And you can look at it again. And if you want to connect with Eric, if he's open to that, he can be your mentor. Eric, I hope you're on the Bear Exchange, because
Yeah, I think I am. I think I'm on a Bear Exchange. I'm a
the
friendly guy.
Yes, the Bear Exchange is Morgan's. It's like a mentoring. It's a mentoring platform that is run by the Center for Career Development. So you can connect with Mr. Eric Carlson, and he should be able to direct you if you have more questions about this.
Yep.
So thank you for joining us, and thank you, Eric, for participating and for taking this time. I really appreciate it.
Oh, sure. No problem. No problem. Be sure to tell everyone I said hello.
They will definitely hear about it.